Hey there, what's up? This is the second part of the playlist about the Agile Manifesto. And in this video I want to talk about or focus on individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Why is that so important to focus on individuals and interactions? What's the benefit of doing so, and how can you actually do that? Mike Cohn wrote something in his book Succeeding with Agile. There's a link down in the description. And he said, or he asked the question, who is the most important employee in your organization? His conclusion is, it's the ordinary employee. And why is that? The thought process behind it is, imagine tomorrow, none of your managers would be able to show up at work. They would all be gone, for whatever reason, aliens or something. All the other employees, they would still kind of be able to run that business. It wouldn't be in the most efficient way, it wouldn't be the best way, but they are still able to do so. And now imagine tomorrow none of your developers, none of the people who manufacture something, none who actually execute a service would show up at work. What would the managers do? Who would they manage? This organization would kind of be in trouble. And that's where individuals and interactions come into play. It actually focuses on the person, on the people who develop, who provide the value for the customers, who provide the value to the organization. And the value to the customers is not how well the strategy of the organization is. It is not how well the collaboration among departments work out. It's not whatever the VP is doing. It is the product, it is the service that the organization is offering. So focus on those who provide value to the customers, because that's the one where you get your revenue from. This is where the value is created. And that's why you should value on the individuals and on the interactions among the individuals. And focus on the ordinary employees. It doesn't mean to focus on the CEO and all his ideas, no. We would all like that, specifically when you're a CEO. There are a couple of examples that actually made this quite evident. One of them is, in the last decade or so, the entire Western market transformed from an employer market, where there was enough resources out there and the employer could basically pick who they are going to hire in order to conduct their product or service. It changed to an employee market, where companies are fighting over the employees. It is quite evident in Silicon Valley, where there were a couple of lawsuits where these big companies made kind of agreements that they wouldn't steal employees from the other companies. It is illegal, but they still did it because they all knew it is an employee market right now. And the employee can choose for whom they want to work, not the employer can choose who they hire. The employer needs to an employer that is not desired to work for, they need to choose whoever is left on the market. And you can as well see this in the discussion about immigration, right? All the big companies, specifically the successful companies, the tech companies, they quite have the same opinion. They all want immigrants coming in because they want qualified people that they can employ. The market right now is dried out and they need to look abroad in order to get that done. Of course, this works a little bit better on the Western markets because quite frankly, we have a globalized economy right now, and products and services can be developed and conducted everywhere in the world. So Western markets, they usually can't compete with cheap labor. This doesn't work. They need to compete with something else. And that is to be able to respond to change quickly so that they have a competitive advantage, and with creativity and innovation. If they create an environment where their individuals are capable and able to have the most creative ideas and the most innovative ideas and can basically understand and create products and services for the market best, This is where they get their advantage. And valuing your individuals and the interactions among those individuals, this is actually what assures a return of invest. You invest in your employees and you want to get something back from them. If you're now basically, if you have the opinion that you say, hey, I'm paying them, so it's their duty to deliver, it's not quite true. Because yes, you are paying them, but you are paying them actually for their time, but not for their excellence. You don't pay them to basically get the most or the best out of them, the most of their potential. No, you're just paying them to be in the office or in home office or however your system is for that amount of time. But if you really want to get all the potential from your employees, then you need to value them. You need to invest in them with value so that they can have an environment where they are able and willing to provide the full potential. If you don't care about your employees, if you say, hey, this is how you work now, and I don't want to listen to how you think we should work, then why should they give it all, right? Why should they care about your organization? It's just, hey, I'm just a code monkey. I'm just here to basically do what I get told to do in the time frame that I get told it is. Sure, they will do it, but they will not give whatever they have. They will not communicate and provide all the ideas and suggestions they have in order to make it the best possible product so that you have a competitive advantage. So you shouldn't tell your employees which processes and tools they are supposed to use. You should ask them. Ask them, hey, how would you like to work and which tools would you like to apply? Most companies already do that, and you can see this with a very simple aspect. All the most successful companies in their fields, all the disruptors in their businesses, they usually ask their employees about the operation system they would like to use. In the traditional companies, they rather say, hey, it's easier for our office IT if everyone uses the same operation system. And it's even easier for them if we don't update more than once every 5 years. But that means that the people are not able to work on the tools and with the environment that they are most comfortable with. And that means that they can't provide all the value. They need to learn the operation system, or they need to complain about the operation system. They need to complain about the limitations. Say, we are still using this old technology and it kind of is a little less than ideal. Yeah, sure. If you avoid that, if you remove that, if you would invest a little bit more in your office IT or system administration so that they provide to those individuals who are creating the values for the customers, whatever they think is best. And when we think about interactions, there's the difference between complicated and complex. And Aaron Dignan, he explained it to me very well. It was the first time where I actually really understood the difference between complicated and complex. Complicated is something that you can master. You might have to put in the time and learn it, but you can master it. It's like a software, complicated software. Complex is something that you need to acknowledge you will never be able to master. And complex are individuals. And the interactions among them are even more complex because it involves two complex individuals, at least two. So you may think that as a leader you might be able to master leadership, but think again. Please think again. Once you have figured out one employee, let's assume it would be possible to figure out one employee, to really figure that one out. People evolve. They change. So as soon as you think you have mastered that, I don't know, it sounds so awkward, but yeah, let's stick with that. As soon as you mastered dealing with someone, he most likely evolved already. and then he is different, and you need to start again mastering it. So there is no end point. You will never be able to master individuals or interactions among the individuals. And if you think now, hey, wait, people don't change. Yeah, they do. I mean, if you're an ass like me, you might never be not an ass. Fair enough, but think about if you are a leader, or if you have been in a leadership position for quite a while. You have been in the situation that you gave a raise to someone, and they are usually quite happy after they got that raise. But ask them again a year later, or maybe 2. Are they still happy with it? Did the market evolve? Are other companies now paying more in order to get a competitive advantage regarding employees? They are not as happy as they have been, and this is a change. And in such a complex environment, when it comes to individuals and the interactions among them, it is impossible for an expert or anyone to be able to judge and identify what is the best way for them to work together and to interact, to collaborate. It's not possible. The best shot that you have at that is to actually ask them, how would you like to work together? What is your idea about the best way of interacting? Which tools, which environment would you prefer in order to do so? And keep in mind, this is not an answer that is ever fully answered. It evolves. It's a frequently changing thing. And as soon as you create your environment in a way that this is possible, that you can actually change the tools and the processes that you use according to the current needs, this is when you have the competitive advantage on your market. Now, how can you actually value individuals more than the processes and the tools that they use? Well, ask. Ask is one of the key aspects when it comes to that. Everyone is different. Nobody can know how they need to work together in order to be most efficient and most productive, most creative, most innovative. Ask them how they want to do it and allow them to make that decision. Of course, there are boundaries. You can't basically update your operation system every other day or buy new software every day, but they should have the general decision-making power in regards to that. And yes, people might not know people might not know what is possible, right? How they could work together. So it is perfectly fine to get some outside consultancy and offer you advice on what's possible and how they could work together, something that they have seen someplace else. That's perfectly fine. But they shouldn't tell them how to. It should still be the decision of the people who need to execute it, how they should work together or how they want to work together. And yes, if you have a project that has a lot of employees, then it is a big effort to get that figured out. But don't just take leads or some experts and representatives and ask them how they want to work together. Get everyone on board and do it with all of them together. If you might think this is not possible or not feasible in your environment, you have 2 choices. One of them is just accept all the disadvantages that comes with it to making those decisions for them. Perfectly fine. Or get some help. There are a lot of coaches out there who know how to facilitate that, and they can help you doing so in your environment. One key aspect there is servant leadership. You need to have some sort of a hierarchical structure, and that's fine. But leadership is not about telling and having power. Leadership is about guiding and supporting, right? So that the leaders that you have, they should be able to support and guide the members of your organization in order to figure out how is the best way to work together. If you want to know more about servant leadership, put a comment on this video and maybe I do another one on that. And last but not least, intent and influence. Of course, someone needs to tell the organization what exactly they want to achieve. This is usually an executive call, and that's good. But it should only be the call about what is the end result. What is the product that we want to sell? What is the service that we want to sell? It's not how exactly to do the product, how create the product, or what the product specifically is. Like, if you make a game, then it should be, hey, it's a game for families that engages people, that has certain restrictions or rules, but it's not, this feature needs to be exactly like that. This will harm the creativity and the innovation that all your members actually can provide. So, once again, how can you value your employees? How can you value the individuals in your organization? Provide servant leadership and intent, and provide them with the influence to figure out how to do the job. If you like that video, take a second and hit that like button. It's not that hard. If you want to see more of those videos or similar ones, please consider subscribing and crush the bell while you're at it so that you are informed about all new videos coming up. And if you want to see more of this series, of this playlist about the Agile Manifesto, there's a card up here so that you can check it out. Other than that, have an awesome day.